We got interesting next-gen console updates, a big cancelled Assassin's Creed game was revealed, let's go over that, and of course way more leaks and rumors and other gaming news. So good that you're joining the weekly Sunday news roundup, and let's go. We are entering the 5th holiday season with the current gen consoles, and since console generations usually last around 7 years, it makes sense that we are hearing more and more about the next ones, even though they're still far away. This week, both PlayStation and Xbox had some interesting discussions. Let's start with Xbox, because after their Game Pass price increase, a lot of rumors started circulating about the future of their hardware business. A big one was that Xbox might be going fully third party and leaving hardware behind for good, which honestly isn't too strange after the many rumors we've heard about major retailers clearing out their Xbox stock to stop selling the console altogether. And this comes alongside data showing that Xbox hardware sales have hit rock bottom after a historical decline in 2024, and that's before Microsoft raised prices again. A Series X is now $650 with a disk drive. But Microsoft was quick to squash these rumors, stating that we're actively investing in our future first-party consoles and devices designed, engineered, and built by Xbox. For more details, the community can revisit our agreement announcement with AMD. That agreement includes a video of Xbox President Sarah Bond talking about a multi-year partnership with AMD to power their next hardware for both the living room and handheld devices. And since then, we've had a new rumor from Moore's Law is Dead, who has a proven track record. Link to his video in the description. Here's what you need to know. The next Xbox console is seemingly going to be a more premium system compared to the PlayStation 6, about 1/3 faster. However, he notes that console players probably won't notice much of a difference when playing on a big TV screen, since the extra power will likely push beyond the 120 FPS in some scenarios, which is more relevant for PC gamers with a high refresh rate monitor. Overall, it seems that the next Xbox might try to position itself as a PC alternative, potentially running on Windows and allowing other storefronts like Steam, which would be the biggest differentiating factor versus PlayStation. Sony, on the other hand, is also teaming up with AMD, but seemingly with a different goal. They dropped a video this week showing lead architect Mark Cerny speaking with the senior vice president and general manager at AMD, and the focus was on the new advancements in the use of AI for console hardware. In short, they can leverage AI so that the CPU and GPU can focus on what they do best, leading to better quality ray trace games with more detail, higher frame rates, and greater efficiency. We're already seeing the first steps of this technology in the PS5 Pro, of course. For most console gamers, 4K and 120 FPS or even 60 FPS is more than enough, and it seems that Sony can reach that with cheaper tech thanks to AI, allowing them to manufacture and launch the system at a lower price point, creating a lower barrier to entry. I thought this recent news article was very interesting. Capcom's president said that the high PS5 price is a barrier for Monster Hunter Wilds sales. Because yes, usually at this stage in the console lifecycle, a group of buyers would come in because the console is way cheaper than at launch. Right now it's more expensive than at launch, so those people are not jumping to the PS5, so cannot play Monster Hunter Wilds. And Sony is likely hearing similar feedback from other developers. So it's in everyone's best interest, including Sony's, to get more people to the latest hardware. What we're already seeing right now is that people playing on PS5 spend way more than people on PS4. End of 2027 really seems to be when both new consoles will hit. Microsoft is already communicating this to developers, and we've also heard the same 2027 plan for Sony. Like, they cannot afford to wait an extra year. That would not be smart. So yes, Sony will likely have the cheaper console this time around, but you will only be able to buy games digitally through the PlayStation Store. Meanwhile, Xbox will go for a more expensive and slightly more powerful console that likely plays your Steam library next to your Xbox games, giving you more freedom in how you use it. Fascinating. Let me know what you think, of course, in the comments down below. And well, Assassin's Creed Scarlet was likely going to be a launch title for both systems. Maybe you already heard about the cancelled Assassin's Creed game that was set after the Civil War, where Stephen Totilo notes that in this Reconstruction era Assassin's Creed, gamers would play a black man who had been formerly enslaved in the south and moved west to start a new life. Recruited by the series assassins, he would return to the south to fight for justice in a conflict that would, among other things, see him confront the emergence of the Ku Klux Klan. But yeah, this was cancelled last year in July 2024 for 2 reasons. First, this was around the backlash against Yotei in Shadows, so Ubisoft feared for a similar controversy. And second, Ubisoft thought that the current political climate in the US made this kind of story too risky. I think the setting would have been very interesting and actually important, especially right now. It's crazy that this could be considered controversial, but we also all know that it would. The sad reality is that Ubisoft just can't afford a big gamble at the moment, with their franchises not performing as well as they once did. So it's safer to invest in settings that won't be seen as controversial by anyone. Another wrinkle that I've not seen many people discuss is that the Shadows pre-launch marketing cycle was not fun for anyone involved. Developers faced online abuse and some were even struggling with depression. Announcing a game where you fight the KKK would likely create a similar situation, and no game is worth that. So yeah, it's sad that it has come to this, but I also understand Ubisoft's decision. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, of course, in the comments down below. Now, Tom Henderson added that this was supposed to be the next mainline RPG in the series, scheduled for financial year 2028, around October 2027, and right around the launch of the new consoles. So I'm really curious how they plan to fill that slot, because the end of 2027 is also the 20th anniversary of the franchise, so you would think that they have big plans for that. I already speculate a bit in a react video I did on this cancelled Assassin's Creed news. You can watch it if you are curious, find a link in the video description. Let's now look at some other gaming news and leaks. Of course, if you like these big videos, leave a like, that would really help me out. And subscribe, because we post one of these gaming news roundup videos every Sunday. Now, time for quick shots, news stories I will go over quickly. We now have an idea of how Ghost of Yotei is performing in terms of sales. In a previous Sunday video, we talked about the fact that its budget is very similar to Ghost of Tsushima's, around $60 million, which means that the game has already been profitable for Sony. And real quick, why the budget is similar, for if you don't know, Yotei was made in a shorter period of time, so sure, the development costs were higher per year, it was also made in a shorter window than Tsushima. Alinea Analytics shared estimated sales numbers, which are usually close to reality, and they noted that after a week on the market, Yotei sold 1.6 million copies through to consumers, 2 million plus if we count retailers as well, translating into nearly $100 million in revenue. So that's not selling as fast as Tsushima. That game reached 2.4 million in just 3 days, but remember, that was during the start of COVID. It launched in a very quiet time, there were not many other games coming out, and there were also far more PS4 consoles in circulation compared to the PS5 right now. In Japan, Yotei sold 120,000 copies in the first week, compared to Tsushima's 212, though these are physical numbers, and digital sales have of course increased significantly over the past 5 years. So yes, Yotei is performing slightly below Tsushima, but it's still doing very well, and it will likely continue to sell strong over time, especially of course with the PC release coming up as well. It's also interesting to compare to Assassin's Creed Shadows, which did significantly worse in Japan with only 17,000 copies sold in the first week. And overall, it seems that Yotei is selling 1.5 times faster on the PlayStation Store globally. Now, of course, Shadows is available on more platforms, so overall sales are comparable, but it's still wild that a sequel in a new series that is clearly inspired by Assassin's Creed is currently outperforming it. For us gamers though, we both win. We got 2 great games set in Japan, but from a business perspective, Ubisoft definitely has some work to do to restore the Assassin's Creed franchise to its former glory. One trick they might have up their sleeves is a Switch 2 version, which leaked again this week, this time from a French retailer. So that might be coming. I'll of course keep you posted here. Now we got the rumor roundup, where we look at the biggest leaks and rumors of the week. As always, I will give stars, 3 meaning I believe it, and 1 means let's take this with a huge grain of salt. This week's rumor is something wild that honestly should have happened already. Current gen and also a Switch 2 version of Red Dead Redemption 2. We've had rumors about these for a while, and now credible leaker Nate DeHay2 says that yes, they exist, though he doesn't have an update on the release timing. But Rockstar even updated the Steam store page description for the first time since 2019 recently. So it would be awesome if they're like, hey, the game is now 7 years old, here's the updated version that finally runs at 60 FPS on consoles. That would be amazing. The time is ticking, like you don't want to launch this after GTA 6. So I'm gonna give this 3 stars. I think it's going to happen, but whether it's still this year is a question mark. I could see it. I'll of course keep you posted here. Let me know if you would return to Red Dead Redemption 2 with a current gen upgrade. I know I would. So this coming week we got the release of the ROG Xbox Ally, the PC handheld that should be able to play all PC Game Pass games. It looks like I'll be getting my hands on one, so if you have questions about the device that you want me to answer in next week's Sunday video, drop them in the comments. This coming week I will also be participating in a feedback session for an upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows update. I will share more details when I can, but look forward to that. Over on the Switch 2 side, Pokemon Legends CA will be launching soon, and there's a high chance that we will get a PlayStation Plus extra reveal for Silent Hill 2 just in time for Halloween. Got some fun videos planned for you this week, more Ghost of Yotei content and some other things too. Hope to see you at the weekly Monday stream on my React channel where we will discuss the latest gaming news in more detail, so link to that in the description. And of course, at the end of the week, you can expect another gaming news roundup just like this, so on the Sunday. You can check out my in-depth video on that cancelled Assassin's Creed game by clicking on the screen. A like would be awesome, subscribe, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.